Watch and burn.
Hey everyone. So tonight I want to discuss Soulfly's first album, and this fucking god, this thing's badass. And this, of course, is their 1998 self-titled album, Soulfly. I guess I didn't have to say that when I just referenced how it's self-titled. Yeah. But the reason that I wanted to talk about this album was because at this point, metal was sort of going through this sort of resurgence. The 1980s sort of thrashy metal had given way to hair metal, and hair metal had given way to glam. Hair metal, had given way to grunge, And then metal kind of got lost. Like, Metallica was putting out Load and Reload, and because of that, it felt to me that, like, metal in the 90s was struggling, and it just felt that the focus was on more of like a pop punk thing with like Blink-182, and then with Rancid making ska cool again with Time Bomb, and then you got the Wu-Tang Clan, and then you had the Spice Girls in a little while, and Backstreet Boys, and it was like metal was kind of finished. But then in the late 90s, like I said, there was this sort of resurgence with nu metal, with bands like Limp Bizkit and Korn and that. And Soulfly, which is Max from Sepultura, this is his long-running side project, Soulfly, and this is the first album. And this record, I felt like the drums on this record were so big, and they were just so pounding, and they were so heavy that they added so much weight and so much like automatic respect to this record that I found that subsequent Soulfly releases, they didn't have that same sort of thumpy drumming that this did. And there's just like a noticeable step down in the power and the impact that the music has. Everything on this record is dense. Everything has that Sepultura roots vibe going so hard through this. Every song has like that tribal influence on it that at the same time, as odd as this may sound, aspects of this record remind me of Paul Simon's Rhythm of the Saints that he released, I think, back in '86. I can't say for sure if whether or not Max and company were checking out Paul Simon's stuff as any kind of an influence on this album, but if they were, it wouldn't really surprise me, because there are a lot of parallels between the two albums from the tribal drumming aspect, and that seems to be the thing that best frames this entire album. In a word, I would say anger. The song Bleed, which features Fred Durst, which I know Fred Durst is kind of a joke, but back then Fred Durst wasn't. $3 Bill, that record was fucking amazing, and then, oh god, what was that? Significant whatever? Jesus Christ, that record was a piece of shit. But yeah, at this point, Durst was still cool. These were like the counterfeit days. And so on Bleed, that is what that track is about. It's the murder of Max's stepson, and that does seem to be sort of the running vibe through this album, is a lot of anger focused around things like injustice, prejudice. Oh, there's a track on here, matter of fact. One of my favorite tracks is titled Prejudice. And that vibe is all over this motherfucker. But I love the drums. The drumming on this record, it's just so epic. The drums are so big, and they're so meaty. They're so bassy. And everything about this record is chunky. From the guitars, to the bass guitar, to the vocal delivery, to the drums, to the production. This record is big and kind of hulking, like it's sort of like looking for things to smash, but with a sense of purpose. It's not just going in looking to annihilate everything like an anal cunt record or some shit. No, this has drive and focus, and this is coming from a place of more of like a deep work ethic and things like that, because Max Cavalera is one hell of a songwriter. Not to knock Seth Putnam and company, but Scott Hall was in Anal Cunt for a while, so I'm certainly not going to bash them. But this music has more going for it than anything Anal Cunt ever. How the fuck am I talking about Anal Cunt now? Let's see, favorite songs on here. Eye for an Eye. No Hope equals No Fear. It's kind of true. Bleed. Tribe. Jesus Christ, I love the last minute of Tribe. The entire song kicks ass, but I love the last minute. The song Remains Insane is like one of the craziest songs Max Cavalera has ever written, and that's saying a lot. This is coming from the guy that wrote like dictator shit, so he knows his way around crazy. And Prejudice, like I said. This record, oh my god, Ross Robinson was on fire at this point. I think this record was recorded at Indigo Ranch, where Slipknot recorded their first one, and Limp Bizkit, I think, recorded their first one. The Deftones, I think, recorded their first one there too. But I think this record was done at Indigo. Now I'm not 100%. But either way, the one thing that I am sure of is that this record fucking kicks ass. I think I'll leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed I almost said Sepultura, Soulfly's first album from way back in 1998. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is a better place because you are in it. I'm gonna go. Have a good night.